Okay, well, this is like the fourth time I've started this video. Um, Today is another good hard day. Today felt like it was 30 days long. Um, we spoke about loyalty, false loyalty versus honest loyalty. Um, let's see what else. I don't know. Um, the practice of healthy boundaries. A little bit about forgiveness. Well, no, a lot about forgiveness, but in a way that is more honorable of our stories rather than the cheap, oh, we have to forgive and forget and blah, blah, blah. Um, and so it's just really good. It was really cool. And what I love about this program is not only takes like that book knowledge, but it teaches us how to use this information, one, for our own healing, but also, of course, to help others. But then by teaching application a little more strongly, it helps it see how it can play out, I guess. I'm losing my words. Out of all the things, I was trying to think about what I wanted to talk about tonight, and I think the thing that floored me today, and I tried to write a little bit about it because I couldn't figure out, I don't know, I'm not sure how to describe my experience, but I met someone today who is associated with the Allender Center. We went out to a dinner to a friend's house, and this person also has experience with this work, and so him and his wife are just very attuned to us containment and all that goes with it. And because that person has done his work, or they have done their work, was able to hear our stories as we again blew off steam about today and the things we talked about, and laughed and joked around and all the stuff that goes along with that kind of thing. And I can't remember I can't find where I wrote my little thingy, but a part of it, I found it. I was thinking about the Samaritan woman and Jesus, and so I'm just gonna read what I wrote. So I met someone today. It isn't that I've not met this type of spirit during my time at the Allender Center. I think it is the first time I experienced it from a man, especially so close up and personal. It was as if Jesus' eyes were looking back at me through this person's. There was no malice, no judgment, no sense of demand, just a presence that said, I want to hear what you have to say. I don't recall that type of attunement where it felt like I was seen, known, and someone was truly curious about what I was saying and wanted to be a part of my world, at least for that moment in time, without expectation, but without manipulating and pretending that you were important just to get sex out of you or to get some other need they needed met. And I tell you, it scared the hell out of me to sit in that presence. And it was a group of us, but in the conversation, and there's more than a few people. There's so many different conversations that happen, and I don't remember what we were talking about. We were talking about something that we all experienced during the day, and the person looked at me and he was like, I want to hear what you have to say. And I don't know. It's not that it's happened. I don't know how to describe it, but there's nothing like it. And it made me wonder about the Samaritan woman. What I wrote here when I was thinking about writing it out, kind of journaling in it, my experience with the situation is that it scared the hell out of me. It was all I could do, sit in that chair and not leave the group of people, because I don't know what do you do with that kind of goodness when you're not used to it. It was different. It was a different kind of experience, and I've seen it in the eyes of the professors at school, at our facilitators and those facilitators in our groups, for our groups. I've seen it and I felt it in that way. But to sit under that gaze in a way that I couldn't avoid it, it's overwhelming. And it's scary. And what happens, it's just a neat experience. I'm so processing it. But it made me, I did think about the Samaritan woman. What was it like for her to meet Jesus that day at the well? I can't imagine a woman with she had 5 husbands and she was living with the 6th one. Me, I am with my 3rd husband. And men have not been good to me. And, and I can only imagine what it must have felt like when she was going to get water at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, or whatever time it was. Then, here's some daggone man sitting there asking me for water. Are you out of your mind? But then to realize she was being heard and seen, and, I wrote, did the Samaritan woman feel the same as Jesus? Looked at her in a similar manner. He asked her for water, answered her questions, and called her out with honor and delight. What was it like for her? Whatever it was so incredible that she forgot. Maybe there's another word for that. But she forgot her shame and ran back into the village to tell the others about this man who told her everything about her. I know Jesus' kindness. The kindness has led me to mercy, has led me to repentance. What is it? The kindness of God that leads to repentance. But then there was the other where I would have despaired if I hadn't experienced the goodness of God in the land of the living. And I'm thinking about those 2 verses and at least having a glimpse of being truly known, and not so much known like this person knows my story or anything like that. It was nothing like that. There was no sexual context to it. No one trying to flirt or be stupid. No, just respect. And it was nice. And the kid in me didn't know what to do with it because kindness in the past was used to abuse and manipulate. But just a neat experience. I know I'm kind of rambling, and in this video says it's now 8 minutes long, so I'm gonna let y'all go. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the Samaritan woman and Jesus? Can you imagine sitting under that gaze for longer than a moment? If you've done it already, if you tell us what it was like. I'm looking forward to being able to practice the idea of sitting with Jesus and having him truly look at me. Him definitely knowing where I've been and what's going on. That he knows the truth about my experiences. The manipulations, the coercions, the lies, and all the stuff that happened. Whether it's me doing it or someone else doing it to me. And he looks at us with love and care. And so anyway, now this video is getting way too long. So curious about your thoughts. Have a good night.